What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be matchmaking some winners, some losers from UFC 324. I have everyone that really had a performance that kind of earned them a better fight. Some fighters I don't have on here because I just didn't think that they needed a matchup in a video. Starting off with Justin Gaethje, the interim lightweight champion again. He once again has held that interim belt. Um, he's going to fight Ilia Topuria, probably on the White House card. Um, it just makes sense. He took some damage from Patty. He needs some time to sit out. Ilia wants to come back around that time, and he said he's going to fight the winner of Justin versus Patty. So he's fighting Justin Gaethje. It'll probably be at the White House. I don't think Arman Sarukian is going to fight in the meantime. He's probably just going to sit out like he does and wait for the winner of this to fight for the title. So this is going to happen probably at the White House. Sugar Sean O'Malley. Matchmaking Sean O'Malley, Piotr Jan, and Figueiredo was probably the hardest part of matchmaking everyone on here, especially because O'Malley and Umar sit at the top of the division. They've both lost to Merab. O'Malley has a fight against Jan that was people think is controversial. He got the win on it. So I didn't matchmake O'Malley against Jan. He's calling out for Jan. But in my mind, I don't think he gets it. You lost to Merab. You lost your belt to Merab. You lost in the rematch against Merab via submission. You just got a win after sitting out for so long. You didn't take damage against Merab. You got choked out. Merab doesn't do damage to you. So I matchmade him against another guy who lost to Merab. Corey Sandhagen. I know. Corey Sandhagen just lost to Merab. O'Malley just got a win over Song Yadong. Why would we make him fight Sandhagen, a loser? He's not a loser, but someone who just lost. He needs another win, and Corey Sandhagen just fought for the title. O'Malley, I don't think he goes 1-2 and gets a title shot against a new champion, a guy he's already beat. Corey Sandhagen and O'Malley has been a fight that people have talked about in the division for so long, and I think it's just finally time to get it done. Next, Waldo Cortez Acosta is calling for a title shot, I'm pretty sure. I don't think beating Derek Lewis, who I don't have on here because I think Derek Lewis should retire. Waldo Cortez Acosta should fight another fighter who is very good at fraud checking and very good at giving up-and-coming guys a hard time, and that's Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades fought on not an Apex, but a Fight Night main event. It might have been an Apex fight. But it was a Fight Night main event against Kuniev. He won. He has no fight news. He's been sitting out for a while. Give Waldo Cortez Acosta Curtis Blades in January, February, March, April. And then give him whenever Tom wants to come back. Because Tom's going to have to fight Gon. So yeah, this is just a good fight to make in the meantime. Next, I have Figueiredo. I would rather Figueiredo retire, but I already made everything and had him on here, and I didn't want to take him off. Just feed him to Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot just put on a masterclass performance against Cejudo. Figueiredo's done. Just feed him to Talbot. Give Talbot the, I was going to say give him the someone treatment, but just feed Figueiredo to Talbot, get Talbot up in the top of the rankings or higher up in the rankings because I think Figueiredo sits at number 8 right now. So yeah, just boost up Talbot by giving him Figgy, and then Figgy can retire unless Figgy somehow fraud checks him again. Arnold Allen, I gave him Steve Garcia. They kind of sit next to each other in the rankings. I think it's just because Arnold Allen's obviously gonna drop because he just lost to Gene. Gene's gonna get a big bounce up. Gene was kind of hard to matchmake too. But I think because Gene's gonna get a big bounce up, I think Arnold Allen's gonna go down 1 or 2 spots. So just have him fight Garcia to maintain his spot. And then if he beats Garcia, he can bounce back up another spot. It just kind of keeps him where he's at, keeps Garcia where he's at. Loser just drops maybe 2 spots. Winner bumps up 1. Now, Paddy Pimblett. I gave Paddy Pimblett Gamrod, Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot just lost to Charles Oliveira, but Gamrot has also beaten Arman Tsarukyan. Pimblett just lost to Gaethje. Pimblett had an undeserving spot in the top 5. He just kind of climbed his way up without even fighting. Gamrot just lost to Charles Oliveira. There's really no one else for Pimblett to fight anyways because Rufy's booked, Fiziev's booked, Hooker's booked, Holloway, Oliveira, they're all booked. So unless he fights Arman Tsarukyan, which I don't think Arman's going to fight him because he just lost to Gaethje, he should fight Gamrot. Gamrot would be a good fight. It's around the spot where he's probably going to drop to. If he does drop, I could see them not dropping him. But yeah, I think this is it's also a good fight because Gamrot is a guy who goes in there and it's kind of unpredictable. You don't know if he's going to win or if he's going to lose. And this is a good fight. I think Gamrot has skills that he could, show to Patty and kind of catch Patty off guard and get the better of. And I think this is also another fight that gives Patty an opportunity to show I don't just beat old men. Even though Gamrot's been around for a while and he's a little old, he still hangs in there. He's not like a Gaethje where he's 38, I think. I actually don't know how old Gamrot is. But this is just a good fight. It's a little scrapper. It's probably not gonna be a scrap. It'll probably be more back. Not really, I don't even know. I think this is a good fight to make. You can make this down in put this on a UK card probably when Aspinall returns if Patty's good to go by then. Whenever Aspinall returns, yeah, just throw this on there. It's a good fight to throw on a UK card whenever Aspinall returns because he's gonna be, if Patty's okay by then. Song Yadong. I gave Yadong Amian Zahabi. It's a fresh matchup. All these are fresh matchups, really. I think it's a fresh matchup, and it makes sense because Yadong's going to drop after losing to O'Malley. He's going to drop probably 2 spots. Zahabi, he just got a win. I don't remember who he just fought. He just got a win, though. So he's coming off a win. He needs a fight up. Yadong just took a loss. He's got to fight down. It's a good fight. It's a fresh fight. And I think this is a very entertaining fight. I think both these guys are very, they're very quick. They're very good and well-rounded. And depending on what Zahabi shows up, if he wants to, wrestle Yadong or if Yadong shows up and betters his gas tank, I think this is a very good fight for like a fight night co-main event, a fight night main event even. They're talking about how they're about to go to Japan, I think is what they said. So you can put this on a Japan card as like a main event or a co-main event. I think it's just a very entertaining fight, these two. Next, Hockett. He called out Acosta, but I don't think he's in the position to fight Acosta because he just beat Denzel Freeman. I think an introduction into the top 15 is up next for him. And for that introduction, I gave him Mike Parson. I think this is just a tune-up fight for him. I think he outskills Parson in almost every way. And who knows, maybe Parson might even fraud check him. Parson's, I think, 6-1 is his record. Hockett, I think, is undefeated. So it's an introduction to the top 15. He could get fraud checked. He could get stopped by Parson. Parson might, stop all that momentum he's got. But if he does beat Parson, then he can call out an Almeida or a Pavlovich or a I don't even know who else is around there. He can call someone out. Tuivasa, maybe. Or if Derek Lewis wants to hang around, he can fight a Derek Lewis. I don't know. I think this is just a good little tune-up introduction to the top 15 because Parson sits at, I think, 14 or 13 in the rankings. Next, Umar. A little controversial, but I gave Umar Piotr Jan. Umar lost to Merab. It was a close fight. I'm a Merab fan. I love Merab. But I will admit it was a close fight. I had Merab winning. But Umar has done more to earn a title shot than O'Malley. O'Malley lost twice in title shots. Umar lost once, and he beat Bautista and Figgy. Figgy wasn't that impressive of a win because Figgy was kind of just not himself. He was on the back foot, not really engaging. But his win against Bautista was very good. Bautista gave him a lot of trouble in the scrambles. Bautista was putting up a fight against Umar, and even though Umar did win that fight decisively, he got dropped by Bautista. And who hurt Merab the most with their hands out of O'Malley and Umar and Jan? It was Jan. Jan hurt Merab with his hands. And if he shut down Merab's wrestling, what do you think he's going to do to Umar? He's going to hurt him with his hands. He's going to shut down the Umar's wrestling. I think these two fighting, they're both Russian. You could have a Russian main event. Maybe, I wouldn't say in Dagestan, but I would say just somewhere in Russia. You have a Russian card. You put these two on it as like a co-main event or even a main event. I think this is a very entertaining scrap. I think this fight would be one of the most entertaining fights of the year, depending on the game plan for both of these guys. I love Merab, but Piotr Jan was putting fucking hands on Merab and was beating the shit out of him, and it hurt me. But I think he does the same to Umar. And I think Umar, he's on a 2-fight win streak after losing to Merab. O'Malley's on a 1-fighter. I think he deserves it more than O'Malley, and I think the fight to make, while Merab is... I think Merab should take some time off still. He was very active last year. I don't want him to jump into anything. I think Umar versus Jan is the fight to make. And I think you make that. Umar didn't take very much damage. Neither did Jan. I think you make that for UFC 326, UFC 327 even, as like a co-main event, or even a main event. I think this would be a good fight to have. Very entertaining scrap for UFC 326 or 327. Gene Silva. I put Gene Silva against Yusuf Zalal. Gene's going to have a big jump up. And I originally had him match made because the top of the featherweight division is very hard. Because we're getting Diego versus Volk 2 at 325. We're getting... It's not confirmed, but we're most likely going to get Lerone Murphy versus Evloev. Finally, Evloev wants to stop sitting on his ass. So they're both going to, get booked here soon. We're probably going to get Aljo versus Yair. If I was going to originally make Gene versus Yair. But we'll probably end up with Aljo versus Yair. And Lerone versus Evloev. Because Diego's fighting Volk. So that's the whole top 5 booked. Or with probable bookings. And I didn't want to book him up against Brian Ortega. I didn't want to do that to Ortega. And Zalal is close to Allen in rankings. And he's going to jump up around that area. So fighting a Zalal, and Zalal's off a win too. I think this is just a good fight. And Zalal actually has been around. He's fought in some great guys. He actually lost to Ilia Topuria a while ago. So all that experience that Zalal has against the Gene Silva, a power puncher like Gene, I don't think Gene hits as hard as Ilia. And I think Zalal's going to be able to handle that better than he did with Ilia. And I think this is going to be a good fight. I think all of these are all very reasonable matchups. And these are all very, scheduling based, timeline wise. They all make sense because Paddy's going to need some time off. He's going to come back on a UK card probably with Aspinall. Book him against Gamrot. Hokit didn't really take much damage. Parson hasn't fought in a while. Has no fight news. You book it for a fight night main event. Acosta, he likes to be active. He fought 4 times last year. Blades hasn't fought in a while. You book him within a month. Within the next 2 months. He didn't take any damage. Acosta took no damage. You book this within the next month and a half. Put it on UFC 326. Sandhagen and O'Malley have both lost in title shots. O'Malley's on a 1-fight win streak. He's on a 1-fight. Sandhagen's on a 1-fight losing streak. You book him. Payne Talbot needs a washed fighter. You feed him Figueiredo. I think all these fights just make sense. Umar versus Yan might be the best fight to make right now. I think this will be a great fight to make. Yeah. Um. Other fighters I didn't matchmake like Krylov and Bukowskis. I just don't really care for them. I don't think Krylov really gains anything from beating Bukowskis other than maintaining his top 15 spot. Derek Lewis needs to retire. Rose, she needs to retire. Natalie Silva, I don't really know what's next for her. Um, yeah, I mean these are really the fights that really meant something and will have really good progression in the rankings. But yeah, that was my UFC post UFC 324 matchmaking. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all agree who y'all would matchmake. Uh, I was also thinking of putting Umar and O'Malley together, but I don't want to give O'Malley another Marab prototype. Um, yeah, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all agree with the matchmaking, who y'all would matchmake instead. Um, and just yeah, just in general. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. Goodbye.